Hey, Angela here, coming at you with another podcast, winging it for sure. Thanks so much for tuning in. Still don't have a fancy microphone, but I do have a new office space. Moving into a new office space. I'm super stoked about it. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So, pardon me if I say like or or because that's kind of what I do. So, bear with me as I build this podcast here. So today I'd like to come to you to talk about faking your feelings or hiding your feelings from your kids specifically, and what might be happening by you choosing to do that. And so it's a big deal. It's a big deal, friends. So let's go ahead and buckle in and let's look at this because it's something that we're taught to do. Okay, and as a certified mother-daughter coach and transformational health and life coach, this is a way for me to help you to see why this is so important for us as moms to stop faking it and hiding our feelings. Like it's really important, and it is key in preventing passing down shame to generation and generation after you. Okay, so literally just by changing this habit that we have or this pattern that we're following, or these things that we've learned in our upbringing, it's time for us to look at it and stop. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about why. So if you are hiding your feelings or faking it around your kids, on some level you're teaching them that you're ashamed of yourself. Okay, and if you're afraid to feel feelings or afraid to sit in feelings or afraid to admit that you're in a negative feeling of, for example, anxiety or depression or sadness, or anger, if you're unwilling to sit with that and admit that to your kids, it's because you are ashamed of it. Boom. Right? Like, I didn't know that I was experiencing shame for such a long time, like decades of my life, until about 2 years ago. And I talked about that on a previous podcast on why I coach. So tune into that if you would like to. I'd greatly appreciate it. But shame it works its way in. It works its way into families, and it gets passed down over and over and over again to our children. And we don't mean to, okay? We can only provide to our kids what we know. Okay, so don't start beating yourself up or feeling mom guilt or comparing yourself to other moms right now. That's not what this is about. It's literally about just looking at it. Just looking at ways that you might be hiding your feelings or faking it in front of your kids. And just being open to stopping doing that. And taking baby steps every day. Being aware of when you're doing it. And creating new ways of communication and new ways of being seen and heard in your family and new ways of acceptance for yourself, right? How would you like to say, hey, I taught my kids self-love and acceptance, right? Come on, like that's priceless. I taught my kid to not be ashamed of who they are. Right? I mean, isn't that what we all want as a mom? Like for our children to grow up to be an independent human being who's kind and who loves themselves? Absolutely. I mean, that's the most important thing for me. I hope that they do well in school. I really do. And look, I have a 5 and a 3-year-old. So I am not a pro, okay? I haven't gotten into the homework yet, and I haven't gotten into all those pressures that all the kids have on them these days. But I will say, as of right now, that the most important thing for me is that they love and accept themselves for who they are, so that they can love people in their life, and that they can provide for their families, and that they can teach their children the same. So that's one of the main reasons why I coach, is to help moms and help heal the world. So if moms, if we can stand together, and if we can really look at why we're doing this, and admit if we are, be aware of it in the first place, then we have a good chance of eliminating shame for good. Okay? So if we're teaching our kids how to fake or hide their feelings, then we are also opening up the doors to unhealthy habits for them. Okay? Like addiction to drugs or alcohol, eating disorders, and anxiety and depression. Also opening up the doors to negative thinking, low self-esteem. And I know that's not what you want to do as a mom. Like that is the last thing that you want. I know that. And it's the last thing I want for my kids too. Because if that's like something that is like, that is the last thing that I want to give to my kids, it's because you felt it yourself. Whoa. Right? Of those things that I listed, you have felt those things. And it is like your mother bear instinct to prevent, natural instinct to prevent that for your kids, right? Well, they're going to feel those things. They are. It's inevitable. Like, they are going to feel some of those things, and they are going to be faced with those habits that might form. They're going to be faced with drugs and alcohol and food. They're going to face those things, and they're going to have to figure out where they fit in their life and how they don't take over their life, right? So that's going to happen. We can't prevent that. But we can show them how to feel. We can absolutely show them how to feel. And that is definitely going to help them to not choose things outside of themselves to make them feel better, and to use those as coping mechanisms, and then to turn into unhealthy habits and possibly addiction and possibly death. Right? I mean, that's hard to hear and it's hard to say, but it's a possibility. And it's like every mom's fear, right? Their health of their children, and whether or not they're going to outlive them. So if it's as big and as simple as just feeling feelings in front of your kids, like, can I get a hell's yeah? Like, we can do this. Like, we can do this together. We can choose a different way. And how powerful is that going to be as we enter into, the next decade, right? We are showing up. We can now choose to show up in a way that we never thought we were capable of, that can bring about such beauty and health and wholehearted living and magic that you never even thought were possible. Now, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy, because it's not. Like, I mean, you know that I wasn't going to sugarcoat it for you. And it's by showing up in a way, honestly, with your feelings and feeling your feelings around your loved ones within your family, and especially with your kids, it's going to create moments of unknown, right? Like there's going to be moments with your kids where there could be judgment or criticism or disconnect, which that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good at all. But it's still worth it. It's still worth abolishing shame from your family legacy. Like, run as far away from shame as you can. First of all, confront it and then be like, okay, bye. Like, bye-bye. Thanks for your time with me, shame, but I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. You know? So, why is it so hard to feel our feelings? First of all, like by ourselves, let alone in front of other people. Why is it so hard? Because we're scared of them. Y'all, we are not taught about this in school. We're not taught about our feelings. You know, our thoughts create our feelings, which create our life. Okay? Let me say that one more time. Our thoughts create our feelings, which create our life. Okay, so if you're thinking about things that are making you feel a certain way, then you're going to experience life at that level. So for example, if you think that you are not worth anything and that you're tired all the time, that you don't have time to make healthy change, that you're never going to lose the weight, or you're just always going to have this habit of drinking or taking drugs, or maybe you're not even aware that it's a habit. If you're thinking about those things, if you're in a job that sucks the life out of you, then you're going to feel down and angry and frustrated and overwhelmed, right? So then you're going to experience life in those feelings, and you're going to make choices that confirms the feelings that you have, that confirms the thoughts that you're thinking. And that's hard work. That is hard work. Thought work is hard work, because it's not this overnight skill that we can just pick up and start. It's literally watching your brain think and being like, whoa, hold up a second. Like, what was that about? What in the world was that about? And so it's being aware of what you're thinking of, and then actually understanding why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And then actually feeling it, and then making a choice from there, a different choice. So if we're just walking around here on this earth afraid of our feelings, and if we're not feeling them in front of our kids, then guess what? We're going to keep passing this down. So here's a little crash course on Feelings 101, right? And I'm not the only one talking about this. It's all over the place. Thank goodness for coaches and spiritual healers and this wonderful movement that we're a part of. Oh my gosh, like, and therapists and motivational speakers, and we're talking about it. We're talking about feelings, the mystery of feelings. So if you're listening, I know you've heard about it. And it took me a while, to get on board, because I was like, I don't want to just sit and analyze my brain all day. And that's what I ended up doing. And it was scary. It was like, okay, because I think a lot, and, you probably do too, but, I like to think that I think a lot. So it was hilarious, actually, just watching my mind. But what I can say now, after practicing that for a while, I mean, it's been years that I've been practicing that, and not perfect. Trust me, I fall asleep all the time, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, let me see, what am I thinking about? Okay, all right, okay, that makes sense. And so now, when, like, let's just say I'm feeling anxious or something, and it's probably because I'm focusing on something that is outside of my control, that usually involves a family crisis. And so if I'm focusing on that, then my mind is just going to keep going. It's going to be in problem solving mode. It's going to be in past mode. It's going to be trying to get into future mode, but our brains don't really know how to get there into future mode, because they're always working with information from the past. So the mind just tends to kind of go all over the place. And if we're not aware of that, then we just kind of stay in this place of anxiety and restlessness, and we're not even aware that that's where we are either. And we behave in ways that, aren't always optimal. Okay. But again, part of the human experience. So if I'm in a family crisis, or if something is happening outside of myself that is, putting my mind on overdrive and causing me to think and problem solve, then I can just say, of course, like, this is what I'm going to do. This is the pattern that I have picked up from my upbringing. I've been in and out of this pattern for decades. And so my brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So that should be relief. Okay. It eventually gets to, okay, phew, yes, my brain is doing what it needs to do. So, okay. And then it's allowing the brain to think, and to think a lot. And it's creating space to ground yourself. It's like, okay, my brain is on overload, so I need to ground myself. So a couple things that I do is I meditate, and I also choose grounding foods like root vegetables, and, like in a soup or something, like warm grounding vegetables to put into my life, because I am in a place of anxiety or distraction or overwhelm, right? That's the difference. And so if I can, by practicing the mindfulness and awareness that I know that you've heard of, mindfulness, right? It's literally just allowing your brain to think, and allowing it to just go, and then using that as the signal to slow down. And imagine being able to teach your kid how to do that. Like, come on. Just to be like, yes, like, my mind, oh my goodness, my mind is going right now because I'm so distracted with what's going on with, our family members, or I'm so distracted with this project that I have at work that I can't not think about it. And my brain is just going right now. And so I'm very distracted. Like, this is you talking to your child. I'm very distracted right now, and I'm going to be kind of short fused and impatient. And so I just wanted to tell you that. And I want you to also know that it's okay. That it's okay to get distracted and to focus on something and to get overwhelmed. And it's even better when you can recognize that, and you can label it and put a feeling on it. And then you can work yourself back to a grounded state. And you can teach them how to be irritable and how to be short fused, right? You can be transparent with that and explain to them as best as you can why that's happening. And they can grow up alongside you as you grow up too. Right? Because I think a lot of us kind of feel like we're still kids on the inside. And that's okay. But there really can be a wonderful opportunity to grow up alongside your kids as they grow. And to unlearn what you've brought into their world as their parent. For you to unlearn that. How beautiful is that? What an honor that is to have. To become you and to watch them grow and to watch them feel and to watch them love themselves. Wow. So it's like you're basically on the same journey, but we're just moving backwards as the parent, right? Pretty epic stuff right there. And I know I was kind of all over the place, and I appreciate you tuning in and being a part of this, because full disclosure, I mean, I've been recording podcasts today, and this is, I think, my 4th attempt. And I just want to get this out there. I just want to put these topics and this energy out there so that it can just get started, right? And it can develop and grow as I unlearn and as my children develop and grow. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that after listening to this that you will be curious and look at what you're hiding and what you're faking and whether or not it's worth it anymore. So I support you, and I send you love as you journey. And just thanks again for tuning in. And if you are wondering how you can work with me one-on-one as your coach, you can go to www.moveforthcoaching.com. I'm also on Facebook, Move Forth Coaching, and on Instagram at Angela Pace Forth. So I look forward to podcasting with you very soon, and take good care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.